It's coming up on 6 months since I arrived here in Nagasaki, and I'm finally starting to feel like I've settled and understand things quite a bit more. And while I've not been making any videos, I have been planning quite a lot of videos and doing research into other things around the prefecture. I have, however, been posting a lot of pictures over on my Instagram, so you should definitely go and check that out for more. But today I want to talk about what it's really like living here in Japan. So we're going to start with... So I haven't mentioned what I'm doing here in Japan, and for some people you could probably guess what I'm here to do. That is, to teach English. Of course, teaching English is one of the easiest ways to get into Japan for a long-term stay. The JET program is probably the most well-known way to get into Japan, and that's the route that I've taken. And every situation is different, is a phrase that I heard really early on, and it is definitely very, very true. For example, I have 3 separate schools, one of which is a huge, huge school. Each class has anywhere from 35 to 40 students, and every day that I'm there, I have 6 classes every day. At the other end of the scale, my smallest school only has maybe 15 students or so per class, and whenever I go there, I only have 1 or 2 classes per week. Some classes you may just be standing in the corner, parroting words and phrases for the students to repeat back to you or to practice pronunciation. Other times you may or may not run very small activities to kind of get the students interacting with you or interacting with each other. That, of course, is assuming that you do manage to get to class at all. Desk warming is notorious among the LT community. In fact, I have found myself alone in the classroom dozens and dozens of times, just kind of waiting for someone to tell me what to do. Sometimes during desk warming I've been asked to mark papers or prepare lessons. Other times I just study Japanese. Or most of the time, me personally, I end up watching Netflix until I'm needed. Comparing my life to England, things are really not that different. I go to work, I come home, I work out, I relax. Things only really change at the weekends. Of course, exploring Nagasaki is going to take an incredibly long time because the street's exactly like this one. This one here houses dozens of tiny little restaurants, drinking holes, and just other little things to explore. Trams come every couple of minutes, and for a flat fee of 140 yen per trip, regardless of where you go on the tram system, it is super cheap and super convenient. Trains out to other cities are also quite frequent and relatively cheap. They're also incredibly reliable. In the time that I've been here and taken trains, I've only ever known of 2 be delayed or cancelled, and that was due to a signal failure in a tree that had fell on the line. Both were cleared in under an hour. Convenience stores are ridiculously convenient. You can guarantee that there is one pretty much always within a 30 to 60 second walk. In fact, from here, this walking bridge outside of Nagasaki Station, you could actually see 5 different konbinis. Konbinis are very, very kind of dangerous, especially if you get a sudden craving for donuts. This is probably the biggest kind of concern for tourists, the language barrier. I remember my first trip to Tokyo and Kyoto way back in 2019, and the only things that I knew how to say is, where is the toilet? And I want to go to Shinjuku. The reassuring thing is, as long as you're in a big city like Kyoto, Tokyo, Sendai, and things like that, you are almost never going to run into issues where you can't speak to someone or ask for help. Trams, train stations, bus stops, things like that generally have both English, Japanese, and sometimes some other languages such as Chinese and Korean. So usually you will be able to read things that you absolutely need to read. Some of the places that I've actually been to offer leaflets in different languages. So if you want more information, you can pick up a leaflet and read that as you're walking around the place. You'll also find that the people that need to speak English will speak English. So if you're staying in a hotel, they're likely to speak English, or there's going to be someone dedicated in the corner that can help you with the tourism. They will have fluent English. They'll be able to tell you where's good to eat, where to go, where to drink, things like that. In a previous video, I've spoken about how shopping is still a huge challenge. And honestly, that's not too bad of an issue because half the time foods have both English and Japanese written on them. So there's very little worry about actually buying something strange like dog biscuits instead of crisps. Things only start breaking down once you kind of leave the tourist path and go out into the countryside or to areas where tourists don't really go. For those who are visiting Japan for the first or second time, I wouldn't recommend going off the beaten path because the language barrier breaks down really, really quickly. However, if you do want to get away from the tourist areas, I definitely recommend learning just a little bit of Japanese because it will go a very, very long way. With Japan finally starting to talk about opening the borders up to tourists from this summer, now is the perfect time to start planning your trip. Here on Last Channing, I'm hoping to bring you more information, more videos on things here in Nagasaki Prefecture, as well as Nagasaki City and other popular cities such as Kumamoto, Fukuoka and Kitakyushu. And of course, much further down the line, we're going to be looking at places like Kyoto, Tokyo, Sendai and other popular areas that you might want to check out. So if you're interested in finding out more, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.